We now have about a half an hour for task force questions and comments, specifically on the proposed sale notice. So for task force members, we will have this opportunity here. If you're a member of the public, we'll have the input opportunity at the end after the meeting adjourns. If we can go to the next slide. As a reminder for task force members, if you have a question or discussion item, you can use the raised hand icon at the top of the webinar window to enter the discussion queue. And I will be calling on task force members in the order that you raise your hand. We'll lower your hand after speaking. You can do that as well. You can click the mute and unmute button to speak as I call on you. And we'll be good to go. So I'll actually take the slides down. These slides will be available after this webinar will be available after the task force meeting adjourns. And as a reminder for folks, when I took the slides down, my picture got really big. You can click on view at the top of your screen and click on speaker or gallery, however you'd like to be highlighted. And of course, just a reminder to task force members, it's great if you could have your video on so folks can see who's speaking as part of this process as well. So I see a hand raised, a task force member here, Sam Cohen. I'll unmute you and love to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted and we can see you.
My name is Sam Cohen. I'm Government Affairs and Legal Officer for the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians. The territory of the Chumash starts in Paso Robles and goes south all the way to Malibu and includes the Morro Bay potential wind area. The tribe has commented extensively on this process. Simultaneously, the tribe is working very hard on the designation of the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. And I know there is some interplay between offshore wind, BOEM, and NOAA, who designates national marine sanctuaries. And I was wondering if someone could address that.
Great, thank you, Sam. Anyone for BOEM? Doug, I see you've unmuted.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. And I see Bill Duros on the screen too, so I'll just say that, I appreciate the question. And yes, BOEM and NOAA have been collaborating and coordinating as we're moving forward, not only in the offshore wind authorization process, but as well as, the designation process for the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. So the collaboration is happening, and I'll just say, I'll ask Bill if you wanted to add a little bit more. I mean, I can't say we had a meeting with Bill just a week ago, yesterday.
Yep. Thanks, Doug. Hi, Sam. Thanks for the question. So as most folks may be aware, the 3 lease areas that are part of the Morro Bay Wind Energy Area are not inside any new proposed or existing sanctuary. They're west of Monterey Bay and north of Chumash Heritage. So our predominant focus of our discussions with Doug and his team have been on cables to shore, which would go through the proposed sanctuary, whether or not there'd be any floating substations in there. And what we're doing at this point in time is ensuring we've got as complete as we can have a picture of what could be happening for the environmental review that we're doing. So we're doing an environmental review not to discern the impacts of the offshore wind project, but rather how would the sanctuary have impacts on offshore wind. And so we're looking at that, including alternatives to boundaries and other options. And, we've got, I think, a reasonable suite of options for folks. Hopefully by the end of this year, that'll all be out and released and we can get some public comment going on that.
Hey, this is Amanda Lefton, the director of BOEM. I just want to echo that not only is the collaboration happening at the regional level critically between Bill and Doug, but also, really happening at senior levels across the administration, just because, of course, and we at the Interior know that we have multiple goals to achieve. We have to fight climate change and transition to clean renewable energy. And we have a goal to conserve 30% of lands and waters. And we know that we can achieve those multiple goals through strong coordination and partnership with our agency partners between NOAA and BOEM. So just want to emphasize that that coordination and collaboration really from every level of the agencies.
Great, thank you, Bill and Director. I also see David, your hand is raised. I'll call on you next.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is David Hochschild, Chair of the California Energy Commission. And I really just wanted to, first of all, thank Amanda and Doug and Nessie and the whole BOEM team for your diligence and professionalism throughout. I just want to note, I think it's incredible at this point in the Biden administration, 18 months in, to be at this stage. And I know that represents a lot of hard work from your whole team to get to this point. We're thrilled to partner with you. And I just wanted to acknowledge all the hard work that's gotten us to this point. And especially thank you for your engagement with the tribes and the fishing community and other stakeholders as we go forward. I did want to clarify, Amanda, one thing you said in your opening remarks. Just to be clear, the Energy Commission has not yet adopted the state planning goals per 525. We had a draft report. We are taking further comment, and there will be an additional workshop on that, which Commissioner Vaccaro is scheduling, I believe, for the last week of June. But we do expect to adopt the planning goal later this summer. But that is not yet final. So just to clarify that. But anyway, thank you again for all the work, and I've really appreciated partnering with your whole team.
Thanks so much for your partnership, David. We appreciate you.
Thank you, David. All right, I see John heading with your hand raised, and then Dawn. So John,
There we go. Are we
There you
good?
go. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the information. This may be a question directly for Marty or whomever may be able to answer it. First of all, a comment. After 5 years of advocacy in DC, it's great to see that there will be a multi-factor auction. We appreciate that greatly on the part of BOEM and that consideration that we've been advocating for a number of years. The question that I have has to do with the 2.5% bidding credit for a CBA. And I noticed, at least in the information that I read, it allows for that bidding credit for, quote, an existing agreement or a commitment to enter into a new agreement. And my question is, if there isn't an existing agreement and the bidder or the bidding agency or entity is submitting a strategy, quote unquote, to enter into a new CBA, how do you, or how is it determined which parties may be most affected or impacted vis-a-vis the fishing industry, the community of Morro Bay, the county of San Luis Obispo, et cetera?
I was going to leave it for you, Marty, if you wanted to.
I gave it to Marty, but whoever wants to answer that would be helpful. Thanks.
So the 2.5% bid credit as proposed in the PSN is for impacts from the lease area. So the city of Morro Bay, the county would have to demonstrate that it's directly impacted from activity within the lease area. So if there's an existing agreement that is outside that scope, it would not fit the 2.5% bidding credit. BOEM is asking questions in the PSN about other types or other forms of a community benefit agreement, but right now it's targeted for activity within the lease area on the offshore, on the ocean, the outer continental shelf.
Okay, and the other question I have pertains to the 2.5% designation, and I'll specifically speak to the fishing industry as a stakeholder group. And we've commented a number of times on the fishing industry, and for the city of Morro Bay, our economic engine is twofold: tourism and fishing. And a lot of supply will be impacted by this project or these projects proposed in the Morro Bay Call area. Of course, we're very supportive of that. Is there an opportunity to potentially increase the percent bidding credit for such a CBA, or is this the final amount? And or can perhaps the percentage allowed for workforce training and supply chain development be reduced somewhat, and the percentages increased for CBAs associated with impacts specifically that have to do with fishing, which we think will be impacted greatly in the region.
BOEM in the PSN is specifically asking for comments on the percentages, so we would welcome those comments on the PSN.
Great. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I also think we should just note, of course, that BOEM will conduct a full NEPA, full analysis of impacts related to offshore wind development, and in doing so, identify potential impacts as well as any necessary avoidance, minimization, or mitigation measures. And I say that all to say that I don't see these precluding another. So if there are identified impacts or other tools in the toolbox, in addition to this brand new bidding credit that we've introduced in this concept for the lease area, to help ensure that there is, adequate mitigation that's providing as appropriate. So I just think that it's important to note that the multiple tools in the toolbox, outside of this.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Director Lefton. Okay, so I'm going to call on our next. We have Dawn and then Janet Gagnon. So Dawn, you could be able to unmute yourself. Hi.
Good morning, everyone. Dawn Ortiz-Leg, San Luis Obispo County Supervisor, District 3. I'll just add on to the comments regarding the fishing community. I see that you did have some new additional considerations and layers in regards to this notice, in regards to the leases to the fishermen. There were some additional pieces. So hopefully that will add to the resources available to them. And I appreciate that we can add commentary to the 2.5%, because I think that when we look at everything and some of the items that you've now added in for their mitigation, we want to make sure that we're completely, providing them with as much possible compensation as possible. So that's added to Mayor Heading's comments. And then the other thing I wanted to just note is that, one, I want to recognize the dedication of all of you, both from the federal government and the state government, on moving as quickly as you have. Being a developer of utility scale solar in the past, I know how long these things can take, and I'm very impressed with the collaboration and the efforts to move forward. And so thank you for that. And then lastly, on the marine sanctuary, I see this as a potential for a coexistence, for something new and very exciting. We're obviously looking at a clean energy port infrastructure necessary to support the Morro Bay call area. And so I think that together we can work on something that's never been done before worldwide, and to really bring forth both the ideas of sustainability and energy, as well as protection of our beautiful resources. So I salute you and happy to contribute and work on these efforts as much as possible. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dawn.
Yes, thank you, Dawn. Okay, our next hand raised is Jana Gagnon. Jana?
Thanks, everybody. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you all. I'm Jana Gagnon. I'm the Sustainability and Government Affairs Director for the Blue Lake Rancheria Tribe up here in the Humboldt region. And I just want to expand on a couple of the comments that have been made previously on the community benefits agreements. In particular, as we look at a 33-year plus operating lifetime of these systems, this is a generational scale engagement. So from the tribe's perspective, we strongly recommend a regional adaptive management structure, a community-led steering committee, inclusive of regional, tribal, and other governments and community-based organizations, as a central community benefit for environmental monitoring, permit compliance, issue resolution, as was talked about, and enforcement as necessary, as well as a forum for partnerships and opportunities. Activities within the lease area are not possible without creating impacts onshore within the region. The Blue Lake Rancheria Tribe has direct experience with bad actors in the energy sector, creating hazardous conditions with no real compliance or enforcement capacity or teeth on the part of state and federal enforcement agencies. And while the tribe does not anticipate bad actors in the wind energy, transmission, port development, or other shoreside supply chain and industries, green does not always equal good. So having an equitable, community-led, intergovernmental and interagency structure that is centralized and focused in the regions, funded for the lifetime of the lease, to monitor and respond to opportunities and any issues is crucial as a community benefit. It's a key support for adaptive management, a relatively small investment by developers relative to the full-scale build-out, and would make really all the difference in terms of creating a strong regional partnership with industry within a time frame that allows for this general engagement in regions that are often under-resourced to take on new industry of this scale. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for all of your work. We look forward to government-to-government consultation and greater engagement with the PSN.
Great, thank you so much, Jana. Appreciate your comments. All right, Jen Ford, I see your hand is raised here. Jen, over to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the ability to be here today and to be on this task force. I want to thank you, BOEM, and our federal and state agencies for listening to our communities, our fishing communities, and other stakeholders. Just to reiterate what's already been said, I think it's kind of a theme here that we're really excited about this community benefits opportunity that has been added to this bidding. And I really hope that we can look at that 2.5% and consider a possible increase there, because this is something that I think is unique to California. I believe that our fishing industry will be greatly affected by this, as well as our tribal communities. So I just want to offer that encouragement as well. As a Morro Bay Council member, I'm an advocate for our community and those directly affected by this wonderful opportunity, by the way, for offshore wind energy. We're excited about it. So I just wanted to add that extra comment that I really do want us to look at that number and see what we could do. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Jen, for your discussion item there. And I'll pause to see if any other task force members would like to ask a question or add a discussion point for today. Okay. Seeing no other hands raised, I will move us on to our next section of task force member updates.